What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, I want to give my commentary on the most recent jail call involving Ernesto Williams and his alleged side chick, Sonya. Shout out to phone calls from prison. I'm sure you've heard of that YouTube channel. I've mentioned it in previous Shirley Strawberry related videos that I've made. Phone calls from prison takes the time out to submit to the Freedom of Information Act, to submit that FOIA request to obtain these jail calls involving Ernesto and either his, wife or I guess in their eyes, wife, we know that legally she's may not be his actual wife, but Shirley Strawberry. And some calls are between Ernesto and the alleged side chick Sonya. So for tonight's commentary, I want to focus on Sonya and Ernesto talking about God. And I want to just talk about how Sonya poses an important, significant question. And I do feel like Ernesto struggled to answer it. And then I want to give what I would say is my answer to the question. All right, so before we dig in deep, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. It will cause YouTube to recommend this video to more people who also have been following the entire legal mess that is of Ernesto Williams, and perhaps they also have been listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show for years, and they at one time admired Shirley Strawberry, and they're completely shocked by the turn of events in her life. Or also, some people, they may just be into the whole, I kind of went through something similar. I want to see women be empowered, independent, self-confident, embrace solitude, so this may be something that they would kind of check out. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would love to have you for when I do live TV show recaps, like for Love and Marriage Huntsville, or when I talk about celebrity tea, celebrity gossip. All right, so with that being said, let's jump right on in. So I've already given you the intro where Sonya poses a question involving God. In my opinion, Ernesto struggles to answer it. So let's listen to the soundbite and then I'll come back with my commentary. Oh, and also, the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary of this soundbite is allowed for criticism and teaching. All right, and everything said here is alleged in my opinion. Okay, here we go.
That's the way I see it. Yeah. Because you're the spiritual one. What do you say? You're the spiritual one. Yes, that's right. I do believe in God, but sometimes we got to we lose confidence in a lot of things. But it's okay. It'll be all right. It's just so when you believe in God and you see what's going on in the world and with yourself and everything else, how do you justify that there's a God? That's what I justify. Like when people, kids get killed and they. I think that's how I'm gonna answer that question real good for you, because I used to think like that, and I used to worry myself about that, and I used to lose faith in God and things. But you have to understand what the lane is, because we don't understand a lot of things that goes on that you can't control. Like the innocent people you kill, people who've been working all their life, they just drop dead all of a sudden. You have people, good, bona fide people, but that ain't our calling. That ain't I can't judge that calling. You might have motherfuckers that don't kill a whole bunch of people just rotten to the core and still be living to 90 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that part. But I started back in the 90s when I was doing that little bit of bit I was doing. And I used to question, but why is it God? And then I started looking at a TV show with back then it was showing Nelson Mandela and all that slavery, how they were selling the slaves to the Europeans. I can't understand, and we killing each other. But that shit been going all over the world like that. You see what I'm saying? People been killing each other all over the world for centuries. Okay. asking is, how can it be a God allowing all these things to happen? That's what you think. Just had to figure out. Sometimes you have to destroy. Just some things need to be destroyed for something else to be built. And I guess what I'm saying is somebody got to be something, or somebody, a human, or something got to be sacrificed to take life to the next level. If somebody being born tomorrow, somebody got to die the next day. At the same time. I think they just expire. Well, you know what? Because everybody that was born 70 years ago. Yeah, but you can't. They're all going to expire. Yeah, but there's some babies be expired before they even get born. They don't even get to the goddamn bill. So I can't count for that either. Some ladies got to die before let the baby die. Let the baby live. So the woman got to die. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many cycle being sacrificed in life. Me, I just believe in God because what He done took me through as a journey that I done went through. Either I'm going to give up, or I'm going to keep going, or He give me a pass. That's what I'm. You have 1 minute remaining. Then He gave us a pass. So I try to do good, but sometimes when you try to do good, that shit backfire on you too. So you're right. So I do understand. I definitely understand. Call me around 4. I'll get your head cracked.
Okay, so y'all heard Sonya pose the question. She said, how do you justify the existence of a God when horrible things happen to people and there are parents who lose their children and lose them violently and have to bury them? How do you justify? And Ernesto really did not have the answer to that question. He went off on a tangent about there being wars and violence and seeing how people have to perish. And then he tried to expound off of that and say, well, in order for things to keep going, other things have to be destroyed. Some people have to be sacrificed. I thought that answer was insane. I could tell that Sonya thought it was crazy because she's typically very vocal, very descriptive, vivid, doesn't hold her tongue. And I think she just didn't want to say, Ninja, you sound crazy. So she was just like, And then once she heard the little heads up that the phone call was going to end, she said, call me at this time. And I think she just didn't want to hurt his feelings. But I think it would have been a more realistic human answer for him to say, I do not know. In fact, in recent years, ever since the pandemic, shout out to comedian Monique, since we've been in this Carnival 20, and we were all forced to entertain ourselves at home and watch church virtually. I actually disconnected from a part of my life that was a major part of my life. I used to be involved in various ministries. I remember I used to work in children's church, and I was the announcement clerk. Whenever an auxiliary would be putting on some sort of event, I would be, the secretary. I would take the meeting minutes. If I ever do a story time on 5 years ago, the church that I grew up in, we had gotten a new pastor, and that did not work out. And I was involved in that as well. And I got really, really deep. It was really, really exhausting, not just physically, but emotionally. So for me to say that I'm disconnected now, it's a huge shift. It's a huge change. And a lot of that is I got to a point where I was getting out of the people pleasing, not just in church, but with family. And in my opinion, the more traditional that you are raised, the stronger that people pleasing spirit is on you. And you have to work that much harder to kind of shed all those layers, and I'm not saying that tradition is horrible. I'm not saying that at all. If it's very healthy, it can be quite beautiful. And it seems like that's a good cycle that can repeat itself. If you grow up in a very healthy household, there's no bullying, there's no gaslighting, there's no manipulation, and then you go on and you can raise children in that same type of healthy environment that you grew up in, that can be a very beautiful cycle, especially in the Black community. Those would be strong Black families. So, I feel like sometimes the toxic side to traditional upbringing is that you learn to people please, and then you are being manipulated. You are being heavily controlled, you know? So I tie that into religion because a part of that tradition and a part of the strong control definitely involves religion. Not so much a relationship with God, but religion, okay? And I think that it would have been better for Ernesto to say to Sonya, I don't know. I cannot explain why such horrible things happen to people, but I still choose to keep the faith. And I always, in recent years, I have said that I wish spiritual leaders, ministers, Sunday school teachers, when they are posed with the questions, I wish they would say, I don't know. That sucks. Even say that sucks, okay? But to always make horrible things be a test from God. You're being tested. You have to go through the fire to come out like gold, and somebody's doing worse. One of the worst things that you could say to someone is that someone else out there is doing worse. You're literally invalidating their life experience, their truth, and what they're going through. It is more, in my opinion, it is more effective, more beneficial to say, this sucks what is happening to you. This is unfair. I'm sorry that this is happening to you. Or and I've been guilty of this. And I was watching a video on I believe she's like a life coach, Brene Brown. I'm sure you've heard of her, where she said, we're wrong when maybe your girlfriend who's married is expressing some serious marital problems to you that she's having, and you say something like, well, at least you're married. I admit to you all, I am not perfect. I have said that pretty much to my girlfriends who would express about their romantic relationships going awry. Well, at least you're seeing someone, at least you're married. And then when I learned that that was wrong, I was like, oh my gosh. And it did click for me. And so now I say, for us to say if somebody out there is suffering more and it's nothing compared to what Jesus did for you, then you're applying guilt to the person because they are expressing their feelings. And then all people learn to do is hold things in and repress. So that was what I took from this phone call tonight between Sonya and Ernesto. And I think he just didn't know what to say. When he said some people have to be sacrificed, I was thinking, what? This is life, not the Hunger Games book and movie. He was talking like he was a character in the Hunger Games. May the odds be forever in your favor, okay? No, Ernesto. In fact, if Sonya was a heavily religious person, she could have come back with, well, why would you say that when the Bible says Jesus came that we might have life and have life more abundantly? And I thought he took our place on the cross. Why does anybody else have to be sacrificed? That doesn't make any sense. But, he didn't know what to say. And he didn't have the balls to admit that he didn't know what to say. And a lot of religion is filled with lots of questions because we're not God. We is literally you're going to have to wait to cross over and meet with him, I think, to get your questions answered. I always kind of joke and say, I hope Jesus will do a one-on-one with me because I do have questions, so. And don't feel guilty. Don't feel like you're this horrible person because, you want to get to know more about him intimately outside of what man has said, outside of what man has inspired. You want to know God for yourself individually and you just wonder some things, don't let people guilt you into thinking that you're horrible or you're going to go to hell because you have questions. You're human, you have a mind. He gave you a brain, so you're not stupid. It means that you're curious and you're thinking about him and you want to get to know him if you have questions. Duh. So I'm still like unlearning a lot of the religiosity of things. I grew up Baptist, and like I said, I was heavily involved in church for many, many years after I graduated college. So you have to unlearn those habits and just know that, people cannot judge you. And I have a feeling that God is way more loving than how he is represented by some people here on earth and in the church. But you all drop down in the comments and let me know, what did you think about that soundbite between Ernesto and Sonya? And if Sonya posed that question to you, how would you answer it? Please hit the like button on this video. It would help out my channel so much. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.